Hi, I'm Greg Ninnis for interest.co.nz, and joining me today for a double shot interview is Brendon Skipper, the Chief Executive of realestate.co.nz. Welcome, Brendon.
Thank you.
I see there's been a slight increase in the number of listings that have been coming onto realestate.co.nz in July, and at the same time a small decline in the average prices that people are asking for. What are the drivers there that's going on?
Well, we're starting to now ramp up into the high season for real estate, so the days are slowly getting warmer, but also people are now starting to think about their next move in terms of when to list and when to sell. And obviously what comes with that is there's been a bit of pressure on the market, so there's been high demand and low inventory, so I think this is just a flow on from those conversations and that thought process that people have when selling their house.
All right. Looking at the sales figures we've been seeing recently from the various agencies and so on that report them, it does seem there's been a little bit of a winter downturn in sales volumes and things like that. But do you think that it's been any more or less than we'd see in a normal winter this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting from what we see in terms of the activity on the site and also the activity from agents as well, is that there, especially in the Auckland marketplace, there has been a constant pressure on the market, i.e. that there is more buyers than there are properties, and that has bucked the trend a little bit. Yeah. So it's encouraging to see that listings are coming back and this stabilisation of prices as well. Okay. However, Auckland still is on that upward trend.
Sure. Okay. And I suppose if we were to, one of the figures we always look at is inventory with you guys. If you were an online shop selling property in effect, this is the stock in hand that you have. It's all the properties that you have to sell listed on realestate.co.nz. What's been going on there?
Well, interestingly enough, while we've seen an increase in listings, they're not staying on the shelves for that long. Right. And that comes down to that demand that's in the marketplace. So there is some pressure on that inventory, and the listings aren't sticking around.
So your stock levels are falling. How do they compare with previous years?
Previous years, I think we're talking at the moment, we've got around 18 weeks of inventory. So that's if there was no new listings coming onto the site. And I think that got as high as around about 22 weeks, even as early as last year. Right,
okay, so that's come back quite a bit. And you've done some new research on where people searching the website are coming from and the languages they would use. What is that telling you?
Well, we thought this was quite topical, so we actually just had a look at the origins of where people were searching, so predominantly what languages, where they were coming from, and certainly what we have seen is that there has been a relatively level playing field. We haven't seen any massive increase of East Asian countries searching for property within New Zealand. Okay. So it doesn't match the sort of the commentary that's in the marketplace. We would expect if there was the surge that we would see an increase in those people. So East Asian country accounts for about 5% of our traffic at the moment.
Okay, and you can search in two ways, can't you? One is the principal language that the device is set to, if you like, that people are searching from, and the other one is where that device is located. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah. And is there a difference between where they're located and what the language is?
Yes, certainly. So what we are seeing from that language, from where the language originates from, is that they're actually based in New Zealand and not actually overseas.
Okay, so what it's telling you, there's so many people who speak Chinese or Korean or whatever it might be, and then they're searching from devices here in New Zealand. So that would support what we've been hearing, is that yes, there might be Chinese investors and people like that active here, but they tend to be here as well.
That's right, that's exactly what we've seen.
That's great. Well, look, thanks very much for joining us today on interest.co.nz, Brendon.
My pleasure. Thank you.